Have you ever made a decision you instantly regretted? Maybe said yes to something when you knew you should have said no, or perhaps you've wondered why smart people, yourself included, sometimes make obviously bad choices. Here's the bigger question. What if the problem isn't that you're not thinking enough, but that you're thinking in the wrong way? Today, we're diving into Daniel Kahneman's revolutionary framework that explains exactly why this happens, and more importantly, how you can fix it. If you're ready to stop making the same mental mistakes and start making decisions that actually serve you, you're in the right place. And hey, if this resonates, hit that subscribe button. We're unpacking game-changing insights like this every week. Let's start with our roadmap. We're covering 5 key areas today. First, understanding your 2 mental systems, the fast autopilot and the slow analyzer. Second, the cognitive biases hijacking your judgment without you realizing it. Third, we'll explore anchoring, loss aversion, and overconfidence, 3 traps you're probably falling into right now. Fourth, the planning fallacy and framing effects that distort your reality. And finally, 7 strategies you can actually apply today to transform how you think. Each piece builds on the last, so stick with me. Here's where it gets interesting. Your brain makes roughly 35,000 decisions every single day. Crazy, right? But here's the kicker. Most of those happen on complete autopilot. You're not consciously choosing. Your brain is running on default mode. So ask yourself, how many decisions did you actually make today versus how many just happened? And what if your greatest asset, your mind, is also your biggest vulnerability? Are you ready to take back control? Because that's exactly what we're about to do. Meet your 2 minds. Kahneman calls them System 1 and System 2. Think of System 1 as your mental autopilot. It's automatic, effortless, running 24/7. It recognizes patterns instantly, reads emotions on faces, and handles familiar tasks without you even thinking. That's System 1 driving your usual route home while you plan dinner. It's fast, emotional, and intuitive. Now System 2, that's your deliberate analyzer. It's logical, controlled, and handles complex reasoning, like calculating your taxes or learning a new skill. But here's the catch. System 2 requires real effort. It burns mental energy. Most people spend 95% of their time in System 1 because it's easier. But modern decisions, career moves, investments, important relationships, they need System 2's depth. Are you giving your big decisions the right kind of thinking, or are you just running on autopilot? If you want to dive deeper into decision-making under uncertainty, check out Annie Duke's Thinking in Bets. It extends these concepts beautifully. Now let's talk about the hidden traps lurking in that System 1 autopilot. These are cognitive biases, predictable errors your brain makes repeatedly. Confirmation bias makes you seek information that agrees with what you already believe while ignoring contradictions. Ever notice how you only read articles that confirm your political views? That's confirmation bias. Then there's the availability heuristic, judging probability by what's memorable rather than what's statistically true. You think plane crashes are common because they're dramatic and all over the news, even though flying is safer than driving. The sunk cost fallacy? That's when you continue investing in something failing just because you've already put time or money into it. Hollywood studios throw millions at doomed movies because they can't waste what's spent. Sound familiar? Maybe you've stayed in a bad relationship or job for the same reason. Here's the truth. These aren't personal flaws. Your brain is optimized for speed, not accuracy. It's a survival feature from our ancestors, but it causes problems in modern complexity. The question is, which biases are running your life right now? Let's zoom into anchoring, one of the most powerful biases. Picture this. You're negotiating a salary. The employer opens with $60,000. You counter at $75,000, eventually settling at $68,000. Seems reasonable, right? But now imagine they opened at $50,000 instead. You'd probably settle around $58,000. Same you, same role, $10,000 difference. That's anchoring. The first number you hear becomes the gravitational center pulling all your judgments. Even random numbers bias you. Kahneman's experiments showed that spinning a wheel before estimating Africa's population changed people's answers. Absurd, but true. This affects everything. Real estate prices, your self-worth in interviews, even your ambitions. If you've always earned 50K, dreaming of 100K feels unrealistic, not because you lack capacity, but because that anchor drags your thinking down. So here's your move. Before any negotiation or big decision, establish your own anchor first. Research independently. State your number before hearing theirs. That's how you escape manipulation. Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference is masterful on this. FBI negotiation tactics grounded in psychology. Here's another one messing with you. Loss aversion. Losing $100 feels roughly twice as bad as gaining $100 feels good. Your brain is wired to avoid losses more aggressively than pursuing equivalent gains. This is why you cling to failing investments. Selling means admitting the loss. Why you stay in mediocre situations. Leaving feels like losing what's familiar. Why you don't take smart risks. The fear of loss paralyzes you even when the odds heavily favor success. But here's what loss aversion hides. The cost of inaction is often the real loss. What opportunities are you missing by staying put? What's your comfort zone actually costing you? Reframe the question. Would 80-year-old you regret the risk taken or the risk not taken? Studies consistently show people regret inaction more than action over the long term. Start small. Apply to one reach job, share one creative project publicly. Each micro risk recalibrates your threat detector and builds tolerance. Angela Duckworth's Grit shows how reframing failures as feedback unlocks persistence, perfect companion to conquering loss aversion. Now let's tackle overconfidence, what Kahneman calls the most significant cognitive bias. Get this, 80% of drivers rate themselves above average. Mathematically impossible, but everyone believes it. We systematically overestimate our knowledge, abilities, and control over outcomes. Entrepreneurs underestimate startup failure rates. Students predict higher exam scores than they achieve. This isn't arrogance. It's System 1 weaving confident stories because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. But overconfidence sabotages everything. You underestimate timelines and costs. You ignore warnings you should heed. You stop learning because you think you've already mastered it. The Dunning-Kruger effect captures this perfectly. Beginners wildly overestimate their skill because they lack the knowledge to recognize gaps, while experts underestimate theirs because they see the complexity ahead. So how confident are you really? Here's your test. Track 10 predictions this month, project timelines, meeting outcomes, anything. Record your estimate and the actual result. After 10 instances, compare. Are you consistently optimistic? That's overconfidence showing itself. The data doesn't lie. Philip Tetlock's super forecasting teaches how top forecasters beat experts by calibrating confidence through probabilistic thinking, essential reading. The planning fallacy ties into overconfidence perfectly. You systematically underestimate time, costs, and risks for future projects while accurately remembering past projects' overruns. The Sydney Opera House was budgeted at $7 million in 4 years. It cost $102 million and took 14 years. Closer to home, you allocate 30 minutes for an email that balloons to 90, derailing your entire day. Why? You focus on your project's unique details, the inside view, while ignoring statistical patterns from similar past projects, the outside view. System 1 loves vivid details and ignores dull data. Here's your fix. Reference class forecasting. Before estimating anything, ask, how long did similar projects take for others or for me in the past? Use that average as your baseline. Then multiply your estimate by 1.5 to 2 times. Sounds excessive? That's the planning fallacy's grip. This buffer protects your sanity and builds trust. Laura Vanderkam's 168 Hours reframes time management around aligning hours with priorities. Perfect for planning fallacy victims. Last core concept, framing effects. Identical information presented differently drives opposite decisions. Tell people a medical procedure has a 90% survival rate and they proceed. Frame it as a 10% mortality rate and they hesitate. Same odds. Totally different reactions. How information is presented shapes perception more than the facts themselves. This shows up everywhere. Buy 2, get 1 free feels better than 33% off 3, though they're mathematically identical. Describing someone as failing 3 out of 10 times sounds worse than succeeding 7 out of 10. In your own life, how you frame goals matters enormously. Quit junk food triggers deprivation, a loss frame. Gain energy through nourishing meals inspires action, a gain frame. Same substance, different psychology. So audit your self-talk. Do you say I have to exercise or I get to exercise? One word shifts drudgery to gratitude. Robert Cialdini's influence explores framing alongside other persuasion levers, essential for influencing ethically or resisting manipulation. All right, let's make this actionable. 7 strategies you can apply today. First, pause 10 seconds before reacting. Ask, is this system 1 reflex or system 2 reasoning? That simple interruption activates deliberate thinking. Second, create your personal bias checklist, your top 3 traps. Review it before major decisions. Third, use reference class forecasting for all timelines. Fourth, quantify your confidence explicitly. I'm 70% sure instead of this will definitely work. Fifth, reframe 1 negative thought daily. Sixth, track 10 predictions versus reality this month. And seventh, ask, is this decision reversible to reduce loss aversion? Don't try all 7 at once. Pick 1 to start this week. Small, consistent changes compound dramatically. Here's your 4-week transformation. Week 1, practice the 10-second pause in emails and conversations. Week 2, build your bias checklist. Research 3 that affect you most. Week 3, apply reference class forecasting to 1 project. Week 4, reframe 1 negative thought daily for 7 days. Progress, not perfection. Even 1% improvement weekly yields 52% growth annually. That's the compound effect of intentional thinking. James Clear's Atomic Habits shows exactly how to build these systems. Perfect companion here. So here's my question for you. What decision are you facing right now? Which system is driving it? Autopilot or analysis? What biases might be clouding your judgment? How could reframing change everything? Take 60 seconds after this video and actually think about it. Write it down, because awareness is the first step, but action is what transforms you. Here's your takeaway. You can't eliminate these biases. They're hardwired. But you absolutely can transform autopilot into agency. William James said, a great many people think they are thinking when they are merely rearranging their prejudices. Don't be that person. Start with 1 strategy today. Your future self will thank you. And remember, the complete PDF guide with all these strategies is linked in the description. Grab it to reference anytime. The mind you have is the mind you can shape. Go forth and think deliberately. And if this shifted how you see your own thinking, subscribe. We're exploring frameworks like this every week. What's your biggest takeaway? Drop it in the comments. Let's discuss. Now go apply 1 strategy today.